Good morning from Yummy B TV. Wishing you all well, sending loads of love as usual, and hoping your day is going to be the best it possibly can. A man told me when I came out, right, so having been institutionalized for all those years, a man said, Yummy, you're not going to just come out, even though you're not involved in crime or nothing. It's going to take you at least a couple of years to learn what outside life's all about. I said, don't worry about that. As long as I'm not going to go do crime, I'll be all right. So I thought by not committing crime, then obviously I wouldn't take drugs, or the demons wouldn't. But they still come. So you don't have to be a criminal to commit crime, to take drugs, to self-harm yourself, especially while things are going well. We know the story we have so far, homeless from the missus and everything that we had to go through along the journey so far. But the hurdles, the man told me 2 years, and then now I realise that it's true. You could never ever have done so much time and be able to keep bumping into brick walls when you go there and think that it's all right you're all right to go certain places, and you end up using, or you end up having a drink, or you end up going, but that wasn't your plan to start with, because you want to be clean. You see what I mean? So all the risked places, people that I've had to learn by since I've been out, I finally understand the meaning of unmanageable and a surrendering of self-will. You see what I mean? Because constantly you can stop. You know you got the will, Yami. You know that Samson, you've been ready. You're a spinal patient for life. You've been dead and buried, and you got back up. So I can't say to you that I'm not strong enough to do these things. You see what I mean? Because I know that God has given me that power and strength and spirit to rise above these things. But, for me to be a true believer in my God and Jesus Christ and, the higher power, as some of you know it, you can't let the devil tickle against you, just come here back through. It's like saying, all right, I'll stick with God, but then I'll just dip over there for a minute. It doesn't work like that. I'm beginning to understand it doesn't work like that. When you're surrendering self-willed, it means that when those weak moments come, or when you're in danger, especially now that I'm quite used to situations and places and people now, I'm almost scared and terrified. I woke up the other day crying my eyes out, So these are the kind of painful things that I've had to learn along the 2 years. So a true meaning of surrendering of self-will, and that is my reading today. Our fears are lessened and faith begins to grow as we learn the true meaning of surrender. We are no longer fighting fear, anger, guilt, self-pity, or depression. Surrender is the beginning of a new way of life. When driven primarily by self-will, we constantly wondered whether we'd covered all the bases, whether we'd manipulated that person in just the right way to achieve our own ends, whether we'd missed a trick or critical detail in our efforts to control and manage the world. We either felt afraid, fearing our schemes would fail, angry or self-pitying when they fell through, or guilty when we pulled them off anyway. So it's never ending, is it? Even when you did it, you're still going to feel guilt. All humans do. The birds are singing this morning, I'll tell you that. Not that surrender is always easy. On the contrary, surrender can be difficult, especially in the beginning. Still, it's easier to trust God, a power capable of managing our own lives, than to trust only ourselves. I begin to see it. Whose lives are unmanageable. You've got to look at all the trauma. We've got to accept these things about ourselves. When we admit that we are actually ill people, traumatized, whatever way, you know what we mean. So the power of God in managing our lives and to trust only ourselves. And the more we surrender, the easier it gets. So it's like saying you put all that faith in the high power, rather than for a 5-minute dipping with the devil to upset your whole soul and spirit and all those around you as well. We turn our will and our lives over to the care of our higher power, oh my God, as we know him. All we have to do is our part as responsibly and conscientiously as we can. Then we can leave the results up to our higher power. By surrendering, acting on faith, and living your lives according to the simple spiritual principles of this program, we can stop worrying and start bloody living. Just for today, I will surrender my self-will. I will seek knowledge of God's will for me and the power to carry it out. I will leave the results in God's hands. I'll be up late. I'm going to go travel now. The birds are singing. Wish you all a good day. And I'll be coming up to do a couple more videos later on. Have a great day, all of you. Stay strong.